Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 1029th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I put onto YouTube. And the battle I've got for you today is a very, very rare and unusual battle. It is a bridge battle with a twist. Okay, it's a bridge battle with a twist, and what I mean by that is that it's only one rule in this game, and it is 60k each. Okay, so there's the bridge there. I thought the architecture looks quite good, didn't it? Looks quite nice there for, you know, 21-year-old graphics. I thought that's quite good. So that's the bridge there. And notice that that's the shallow water crossing there as well. Now, there's only one rule in this game, okay? Here, you can see the shallow water crossing there. There's just one rule in the game, and that is that the bridge or the shallow water crossing are not to be blocked. Okay, so you can't block the shallow water crossing and you can't block the bridge. Okay, and the simple reason for that is that if they're not blocked, then either team can attack. Of course, if you block the bridge with pikes or spears or something like that, then obviously the other team can't attack, and it just kind of turns into a bit of a stalemate. That's why people don't play bridge battles anymore, because it's just, you know, if people, you know, veterans watching this remember how they just used to turn into a bit of a stalemate, didn't they? But in this battle, that's the only rule: no blocking of the bridge or the shallow water crossing, and it's got the potential to be an absolutely cracking battle. Okay, our first teammate is someone who's called himself Rome Lag Festival, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. And he's got 5 artillery, 4 cataphracts, 4 elephants there. And I think he's got 5 pikes as well. There's a close-up of the onagers there. If you haven't seen them before on Rome Total War, they can fire fire pots, which do a lot of damage but are inaccurate, or they can fire boulders that are more accurate but do less damage. So you need to decide which form of ammunition you want to use. There's the cataphracts there. Remember, it's 60k each, so every unit is going to be fully upgraded. Okay, and here's a unit you don't see very often: Seleucid armored elephants there. Okay, and if they're fully upgraded, imagine the cost of each elephant there. And if you look, can you see how well armored they are? I mean, they really are well armored. Even their legs, look, even their legs are well armored as well there. So as I say, you don't see that very often. Of course, you've got the archers sat on their backs shooting into the enemy as well. So that is Scorpion King's Seleucid 60k army. Okay, our next teammate is GoTW Beatch. Now, Beatch has just got 10 infantry, 4 archers, and 6 cavalry. Of course, as I say, it's 60k each, so every unit will be fully upgraded. Okay, our next teammate is GoTW Romex, who's bought the Scythia faction. Now, he's got a very unusual army: 10 horse archers and 10 headhunting maidens. And now he's gone for the cheaper horse archers there. As a lot of you will know, Scythia's got some really good but expensive horse archers, but he's gone for the cheapest horse archers that they've got there. Okay, now bearing in mind it's 60k each, I was quite surprised to see that, because they've got some really well armored horse archers, you know, some of the best in the game there. Okay, and there are the headhunting maidens. Okay, now when you hear the name maiden, you might think, oh, someone who's a bit quiet, a bit reserved, a bit of a wallflower. Well, that description ain't these girls. These are the deadly ladies of Rome Total War. Okay, and the reason they're the deadly ladies of Rome Total War is because they carry effective against armor axes, and they're not so good against infantry, but cavalry versus cavalry, they're probably the best in the game, but you just don't see them on the 31k battlefield that often. Okay, so that is Romex is 60k Scythian army there. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's bought the Greek Cities faction. Now I've got 11 Spartans, 3 archers, 4 artillery, and 1 fast-moving cavalry unit there. Okay, if you notice there, I've set a wall of spears up to protect my artillery units there. Okay, so if the enemy attacks, they're going to first of all confront my Spartans there. Well, my artillery are shooting at them. If you notice, I've got reserve Spartans at the back of my battle formation there to use as I want. And I've got a fast-moving, fully upgraded cavalry general unit there for if any fast cavalry come round to try and take out my crew, then that cavalry unit can counter that. Okay, and as I say, I've got my Cretan archers there tucked in behind that Spartan wall there, so when the enemy attacks, those archers can be shooting into them and still be well protected by that Spartan spear wall there. Okay, so there's our team. You can see it is a very, very diverse team with Seleucid, Rome, Scythia and Greek cities. As I say, it's got a potential to be a cracking battle and a very rare bridge battle too. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Fesen. Now Fesen has got 16 sacred bands and 4 armoured elephants there. And then a quick look at the armoured elephants there. You can see, as I say, these armoured elephants are really, really expensive. But as I say, we got 60k each, so I'm guessing all the elephants in this battle are fully upgraded. So that's some serious elephants there. The next teammate is RTW player Barclayman. Now he's got the Germania faction. Of course, a lot of his units are hiding in the woods there. I would have thought for 60k though, he would have bought a lot of berserkers. I don't know what you think there. He's got his army spread out quite a bit, but I'd have thought for 60k he might have bought a lot of berserkers. I don't know what you're thinking there. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Vicox. Now Vicox got 10 heavy cataphracts and 10 horse archers, I believe. Of course, the horse archers are hiding in the woods. And their last teammate is RTW player Varus, who's bought his faction of choice, which is Macedon there. And of course, most of his units are hiding in the woods. I'm guessing that he's got pikes and cavalry there hiding in the woods. There. And as I say, remember the only rule in this game is no blocking of the bridge or the shallow water crossing. Okay, so that's the only rule in this game, and this will allow either team to attack. You see, I say if you block the bridge or the shallow water crossing, obviously that stops teams from attacking, as that's the only 2 crossing points. So as I say, that is the only rule in this 60k each battle, no blocking of the shallow water crossing or the bridge, and I'm hoping that's going to encourage attacking play. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, what I was hoping was going to happen looks like it might be happening here. And so, as I say, having the shallow water crossing and the bridge unblocked, this may well encourage aggressive attacking by either of the teams here. And straight away you'll see that Fesen is looking to bring his fully upgraded Carthage Sacred Band army across the shallow water crossing there. Okay, so as I say, not having a shallow water crossing or the bridge blocked, it really does encourage attacking play. And just look how Fesen is bringing his Carthaginians across that shallow water crossing there. Now I'm not sure what the team speak was on his side, obviously, because I'm not privy to the conversation there, but I don't know whether he said, come on guys, let's attack. You'll see here that Romex is moving his horse archers forward there, but remember those sacred band fully upgraded, they're not going to suffer a lot of casualties from arrows there. I've got my artillery, which I'm going to try and move into range, which I'm going to try and hit. The only trouble is with artillery, if you use fire pots, they're so inaccurate you can kill your own men or your own allies, so you need to be careful. Over here you'll see that I think it's Beatch has put his archers there to try and target the Germanic archers on the other side of the bank there. Okay, so a bit of archer battle, a small archer battle going on here, but the main thing is here, just as I was hoping, a really aggressive attacking move. As I say, veterans watching this, you remember the old bridge battles where very often they used to just get stuck on the bridge, didn't they, and people just used to leave the game and things like that. Well, having the bridge and the water, shallow water crossing unblocked, look, it really does encourage heavy attacks here. There goes my you can see my fire pots going in. You can see the arrows from the horse archers hitting the Carthaginians, but not doing a lot of damage. If you notice here, pause the game for a second there. So there you are. You can see that Fesen's bringing his Carthaginians back. It looks to me like he's going to try and form a bridgehead there for all his allies to come in. Now you can see here that Barclayman is now moving his Germanic troops forward. But what did baffle me a bit was Fesen left his elephants there. because the elephants can cross the shallow water crossing, and I thought if he wanted to really form a bridgehead on the other side there, and maybe his elephants coming across with the Germanic troops as well. I don't know what all of you are thinking there. Please put your thoughts in the comments. You can see I'm moving my Spartans over there to try and neutralize the Carthaginian attack, but the horse archers are shooting into them there. But as I say, fully upgrade sacred band spearmen, they're not going to suffer a lot of casualties from horse archers there. And you can see if you look carefully, you'll see the arrows going into them, but not really causing them hardly any damage at all. Well, watch my fire pots here, okay? You see my fire pots coming, as I say, so inaccurate. I could kill, if you're not careful, you could kill your own troops there. And your allies' troops as well. Right, so you can see Fesen now has got onto the other side of the bank to create his bridgehead. Okay, so he's got his 16 sacred band spearmen. There you can see I brought my Spartans over to try and counter that bridgehead there, and you'll see Germania troops coming in. Here you'll see Beatch has brought some of his Red Rome Julio troops here to crash into the flank of Fesen. Okay, and I've got my archers there as well, shooting into them. As well as we're trying to snuff out this enemy bridgehead, if you like, okay? But as I say, just watch my fire pots, how inaccurate they are. And those onagers of mine, they're fully upgraded. You can only put stripes on them, but I've got 3 stripes on those onagers. And look, did you see that fire pot just landed in amongst my Spartans there, causing casualties to my Spartan units? Right, can you see? I just thought this was quite a dramatic shot. One of my fire pots has hit one of the Carthage attacking units there. I just thought that was quite an interesting shot there to see how those sacred band guys were being blown up into the air. But also what I wanted to show you here, can you see a group of Spartans there? That's my Spartans have been killed by one of my fire pots. Of course, once your troops start getting into, close proximity of enemy troops, really, you should just turn off your artillery. Otherwise, you really do endanger your own troops and your allies' troops. So now I should just stop. I should just stop my artillery now. They're just so inaccurate with those fire pots. Another fire pot has hit me. Look, can you see another lot of casualties there from my own artillery? So as I say there, you can see my Spartans now moving in on the Carthaginians. As I say, I really do need to stop shooting my fire pots now. There, it just killed one of my allies, hit one of my allies' units there. So there you are, you can see my Spartans starting to move in there. But my fire pots are still shooting. I think I might be trying to target the Germanic troops that are just arriving. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I say, you can see me there pushing my Spartans in, trying to neutralize that bridgehead that Fesen has established. You can see enemy Germanic troops coming across to reinforce the bridgehead. I'm not sure if any of the other allies are going to come across. There's a berserker unit there. There's more berserker units coming across there to reinforce the bridgehead that Fesen has formed there. As I say, you can see I can see those charred bodies there of my Spartans where they got hit by 2 fire pots, if you look. But you'll see my Spartans starting to make inroads into the Carthaginians. Now watch these fast-moving Germanic troops here, those cavalry. And watch this, they're going to go for my archers. Now what they would like to do is to kill my honor crew, my artillery crew. Okay, that's what Barclayman really wants to do. You see he's trying to get to my honor crew, where he could kill them, stop my artillery. You can see both Romex and myself have got our fast-moving cavalry there to try and neutralize the Germanic cavalry there, the fast-moving barbarian warlord cavalry units there that were trying to kill our onagers. So as I say, that was a nice move there by Barclayman. You can see he's got one of his fast-moving cavalry units right in the middle of my onagers there, killing both my archers and my onager crew. So remember, if you lose your onager crew, your artillery unit will obviously stop working then. But anyway, you can see my Spartans there really pushing in to that bridgehead that Fesen's tried to establish there, and you can see that Beatch has brought his Julio troops in on the flank of Fesen's Carthage sacred band there. So as I say, really pushing in there like mad there. You can see the my troops really making inroads into the Carthaginians there. As I say, you can see the Germanic troops coming across that shallow water crossing to reinforce their ally. Whether they're going to get there in time, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think he's got berserkers and archers there, so the archers can shoot, might be shooting in there, but I can see Fesen's army starting to rout. There you go, his general's just gone as well. So the Germanic troops just got there too late to really help there, and all of Fesen's infantry has now been taken out. Okay, he's still got his armoured elephants on the other side of the river, but at this stage all of Fesen's spearmen have now been taken out from a combination attack from Beatch and myself there. Okay, including the Carthage general has been taken out as well. So Fesen did actually establish a bridgehead. All he needed was reinforcements, maybe to come over to enlarge and protect that bridgehead there. But as you can see, just a few Germanic troops have come across to support him there. And as I say, there's a couple of berserker units there, if I remember correctly, and he's got his archer units there as well. But you can see my Spartans, fully upgraded Spartans, which seem to just steamroller. I thought at the time they just seemed to steamroller those berserkers there. As you can see, they just seem to go over them there, just by sheer numbers, and as I say, fully upgraded there. So I think we've taken out those Germanic troops that were there. They've either been routed or killed, and you'll see them retreating back, routing back across that shallow water crossing. Okay, and over here you'll see that Romex is going to chase down those Carthage routing troops there, make sure they don't rally. So a really nice move there by Romex. Okay, but as I say, now we've got to make a decision here. We've got a lot of troops, a lot of resources here. Are we going to attack now? Are we going to go across this shallow water crossing and establish a bridgehead on the other side of the river? Okay, let's just see what we're decided that we're going to do here. Because if we do cross that shallow water crossing, I mean, it's going to be amazing to see elephants, cavalry and infantry moving across there. There you are. So it looks to me like we've decided we're going to move across there. Can you see that dead Carthaginian soldier there that's just floated down the river there? But there you are. The team has decided now we are now going to cross onto the other bank by using the shallow water crossing there. And oh my gosh, just look at all those troops trying to get across that narrow shallow water crossing there. Oh my gosh, just look at that. You can see them really pushing across there. And to be honest, I can't remember seeing so many elephants in a battle. So there you are. And the only trouble is, you'll see they knock over their allies as they move, as the elephants move through that shallow water crossing. It's such a confined space. Can you see they're actually knocking it over our Roman allies' troops? But if you notice, the Roman troops are standing back up. They've kind of been knocked over by the elephants there. See, can you see they've been knocked over there? You can see them under the water by the elephants, but if you watch, you'll see that they're actually standing up. The majority of them just stand up, but if I remember correctly, some were actually killed in the battle there. There you are. Can you see them standing back up? So they were knocked over in the water by those elephants there, but they've but the vast majority of them stand up. So you can see now that we're reaching the other side of the river there, and this is where, as I say, we're going to be looking to establish a bridgehead. So I just thought you'd like the close-up there of the elephants knocking over their Julii allies infantry, but then you'll see the majority of that infantry standing up and probably saying some swear words about those elephants, I would think. I don't know what you think, because I would think a Roman soldier in all that armour being knocked into the water probably was not a pleasant experience, shall we say. Right, pause the game for a second. But here you can see that some of the Roman soldiers didn't get back up. They're actually dead. And they've just been killed, I think, by being drowned in the water by the elephants. Not many, but just a few there. But as I say, you can see we're just getting across onto the other side of the river there. As I say, where we're going to look to establish a bridgehead. Okay, you'll see here that Scorpion King's got his cavalry ready there, and he has already established a bridgehead on the other side of the bridge there with his pikes. Can you see that? So he's established a bridgehead already, and we are just doing that at this moment. So it'll be interesting to see what's hiding in the woods there. I would think there's a heck of a lot of enemy troops hiding in the woods, and they've got the downhill advantage on us as well as we come across the shallow water crossing there. So as I say, can you see what I mean about not blocking the bridge or the shallow water crossing? It does encourage attack. You already can see some maidens, headhunting maidens there, look, floating down the river, dead, of course. You see the orange skirts there. But yeah, so I'm not sure if they were killed by the elephants during the crossing. I'm not really sure. Maybe they were. As I say, the elephants just they just want to get on the other side, and they kind of don't care about knocking over their allies or anything like that. So they already can see there Beatch's cavalry coming across as well. So, you know, I mean, looking now, I think we really are quite established on the other side of the bank there. So it'll be interesting to see how what the enemy are going to do now to try and repel our attack. You can see a heck of a lot of horse archers there, of Vicoxes shooting into us. I know a lot of, I would have thought, Germanic troops are hiding in the woods there, where they're going to get the woods bonus, I would have imagined there. So I think basically nearly all our army is now across the onto the other bank now. I think there's just some archers that Beatch is bringing across now. And I remember I was just setting out a new battle formation for my Spartans there. So there you are, you can see that we are quite established now on the other bank. And as I say, Scorpion King there has established a bridgehead. I've brought my archers as far forward as I can near the bridge to support Scorpion King if necessary. He's got his cataphracts there, and you can see Varus as his artillery here, and he'll possibly be looking to target. Imagine if Varus moved his artillery forward a little bit. Can you imagine the damage that he could do to Scorpion King's units there with fire pots? Imagine a fire pot landing amongst Scorpion King's massed pikes there. Can you imagine the damage that fire pots could do? So it'll be interesting to see what Varus is going to do there with his artillery. But as I say, over here on the enemy side of the river, we are well established now with cavalry, elephants, archers and infantry. So as I say, it'll be interesting to see how the enemy are going to try and repel our attack here. But you can see they definitely got the hill advantage there. If you look at the ground, you'll see they are really up on the hill there. You can see these horse archers are being alt-attacked to attack that Germanic spear unit there. Sheer weight of numbers of headhunting maidens in there. Oh, there's that cavalry that was hiding in the woods. Look, and bang! As it charged downhill into the Scythians. And there's a berserker unit that's been activated as well. A nice ambush there by Barclayman. Just waiting for his time there to get that downhill charge bonus, which he's just done with his fully upgraded Gothic cavalry, and a berserker unit charging in there as well. Oh my gosh, that was a really nice ambush there by Barclayman. He may well need reinforcements though, because you can see we're charging back in there. There's some headhunting maidens attacking those berserkers there. See those berserkers chopping down those maidens. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, that's all the Germanic cavalry has now been routed, just leaving those two berserker units there for us. Now that Germanic cavalry may well rally, I'm not sure there, but these berserkers are still fighting fit here, look. And you can see Beatch has brought his cavalry in there, the Praetorian cavalry are charging in there, and now he's decided to pull them back. But you can see there's been a heck of a lot of casualties in this particular area here. Right, there comes Beatch charging his cavalry in again, look, bang, pulled his cavalry back. Locked and load them, charge them in to get the charge bonus there, the maximum cavalry charge bonus. That berserker unit has literally been destroyed before our eyes there. That berserker unit was smashed by that fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry, and as I say, that berserker unit kind of just disappeared before our eyes there, where it was just decimated by that cavalry hit. I think there's another berserker one, I think if I remember right, there's one berserker here, if we can see him. There you are. That other berserker unit, look, there's one berserker left there. You can just see him there. But how long he's going to last with that fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry? He's still fighting there, and I think they've just taken him out. So, oh my gosh. So that was a nice ambush there by Barclayman, but sadly it probably didn't do the damage that he was hoping there. Right here you can see the elephants of Scorpion King moving towards the horse archers of Vicox. It wouldn't surprise me if Vicox backed his cavalry off. Meanwhile here you'll see that Scorpion King has had a little battle with one of the Germanic spear units there. And you can see that he's broken that spear unit and he's brought his cavalry across. Now see this Germanic general unit here of Barclayman. What he's trying to do is to kill either as many of my archers as he can, or get across the bridge to kill my honor crew there. Okay, the honor crew would be a good target for him, but he may well just be looking to kill the archers there, as you can see. And you notice I've alt-attacked my archers, hoping that my ally will bring across one of his cavalry units, which he's done. Scorpion King just brought one of his units across, and that Germanic general unit could be either killed or routed. There you are. It's been routed there. Nice combination there between my alt-attack archers there and Scorpion King's cavalry unit there. Okay, meanwhile over here you'll see that Scorpion King's elephants are moving towards the enemy troops. There's some Germanic cavalry there. What's he going to do with that cavalry? Is he going to... No, he's going to charge. He's going to charge that into the elephants like a bang, as he smashed it in there. Oh my gosh. But I would think that those elephants will make short work of that cavalry there. Yeah, I thought they would. There, remember, I'm guessing that those elephants are fully upgraded, armored elephants, fully upgraded. Oh my gosh, talk about tanks. I mean, they literally are tanks, I would think. As I say, it's so rare for us to see elephants in our battles there. But remember, this was only one rule battle, and that was not to block the bridge or the shallow water crossing. So apart from that, you can bring whatever you like. Now over here you'll see that that shallow water crossing not being blocked was a really good thing for us overall to have, I think, to be honest. Okay, so we're going into kind of like phase 2 of the battle here. The enemy are on this side of the road, up on the high ground, as you can see. There's Fesen's armoured elephants there. They look like they're locked and loaded, ready for some heavy-duty action, downhill heavy-duty action. And you can see that Vicox has got his horse archers there. He's got his cataphracts, his fully upgraded cataphracts, hiding in the woods as well. And as I say, I reckon they'll just be waiting for us to move forward so that they can then make the most of their downhill charge bonus. Can you imagine fully upgraded elephants with a downhill charge bonus charging into our troops? Oh my gosh. The thought of that kind of well, could be quite frightening. Anyway, that's a Germanic general has just actually been taken out. And you see here that Varus and myself are exchanging missiles. Remember that the boulders are accurate, more accurate. So they're the things that really you should, if you're firing at artillery, enemy artillery units, you should use the boulders really, because they're more accurate. Remember the fire pots are inaccurate, but they're for massed targets, massed enemy targets. You see that boulder unit just smash in there and just destroy that onager there. So as I say, a little tip: if you use artillery, boulders for targeting enemy artillery and fire pots for targeting dense enemy infantry formations there. Okay, so you can see now that we've moved over the road now, if you like, into the enemy part of the map. Now remember, the enemy are hiding in all those woods there. Scorpion King may well be going for Varus as artillery. Oh my gosh, look at this for a cavalry hit. A downhill cavalry hit from Vicox, just smashed into that Scythian unit there. Now is he going to back off? You can see Beatch bringing his fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry in. It would surprise me if he pulled that cavalry back, which looks what he's doing there. And you can see that Vicox is now retreating back up onto the higher ground. That was a surgical hit that he just did with his cavalry onto that Scythian cavalry unit there. But just look how they've taken up position on that higher ground. Make no mistake, this is going to be a real challenge for us here. But here you can see, now I just want to show you a perfect ambush here. Okay, a real perfect ambush. You can see that Varus had these pikes hiding in the woods, okay, just in front of his artillery pieces there. So Scorpion King was charging his cataphracts, thinking he was going to hit the artillery, and then ran into these pikes. Perfect ambush there by Varus. And look at the cataphracts that Scorpion King lost, running into those pikes, trying to get to those artillery pieces, not seeing the pikes until he actually hit them. That was a really good ambush there by Varus there. And as I say, Scorpion King just didn't see those pikes until he hit them. Great ambush there, but he's got one of his units around there, which he may well go for those onager crews now before those pike units can get into him. But just look at the cataphracts that he lost from that ambush there. So as I say, all he could see was the artillery pieces, look, and was heading straight for them. He obviously couldn't see the pikes because they were hidden, and the only time he did see him is when he ran right into them with his cavalry. As I say, great ambush there by Varus. And you can see Varus got a lot of his pikes here. Okay, so looking at it, it looks to me like the enemy troops may well go defensive, which is going to make us have to attack uphill. And the thought, as I said before, of those fully upgraded Carthage elephants coming downhill at us is not very appealing. Here you can see the Armenian cataphract. The actual Armenian archer cataphracts are some of the best well-protected archers in the game. If you check out their defenses and things like that, because they're armoured, they are a really good horse archer unit to bring. Okay, so over here you'll see that Scorpion King is now moving some of his Seleucid pikes over towards the Macedonian pikes there. Okay, now I'm guessing that both sets of pikes are going to be fully upgraded, and if that's the case, the Macedon will have an advantage there, because before any upgrades are put on, if I remember correctly, Macedonian Royal Pikemen have 3 more defense points than any other pike unit. So if there's a scrap going on over there, the Macedonians may well have the advantage. Right, can you see my archers here and Beatch's archers there? We're targeting the Macedonians. Remember, the Macedonians, even if they're fully upgraded, those units will still suffer damage there. There's the Macedonian general unit there. Now, I couldn't see the general, so whether he's been killed by a lucky shot or something, I'm not sure. But that's the actual unit that I'm aiming for with my archers there. Just trying to cause as many casualties as I can before we get into any hand-to-hand fighting. But you can see that our team is kind of, if you like, getting locked and loaded here, ready to attack. Okay, but we are targeting those Macedonian pikes. And if I remember correctly, Varus didn't bring any archers, I don't think. So he's got no archer cover for his pikemen. And as I say, just look at these cataphracts and elephants on the high ground, just ready to charge straight down into us. As I say, fully upgraded elephants charging downhill into, say, Roman troops. Imagine that. Oh my gosh. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. So here you can see, just look at the hill. If we're going to attack, we've got to attack up this hill. And then if they obviously attack, they will, as we talked about, get the downhill charge bonus. My Spartans are not too keen to taking them up that hill against those elephants. Meanwhile, over here, as I say, Scorpion King's Seleucid pikes there up against the Macedonian pikes. It looks to me like Scorpion King took out Varus's onagers there. All the crews look dead to me, so he's done a really good job. And he's now concentrating on these Macedonian pikes. But over here, now, it wouldn't surprise me here if Varus may well try a downhill attack into Beatch's infantry there. Now, when Macedon attacks Rome, what they tend to do is obviously ups pikes. They'll run down, smash into the forward unit of the Romans, and then put the pikes down. That's what you see very often done by pike general. So it'd be, just keep an eye on for that. It'd be interesting to see if that's what he's going to do. See this, these couple of Armenian cataphracts there trying to chase down our archers there, that was causing the Macedonians so many casualties. But you can see Beatch has brought a couple of his cavalry over to chase those Armenian cataphracts off. But as I say, just watch Varus as pikes, see what tactics he's going to use. Here, as I say, you can see the elephants there of Fesen. He's just trying to get into the best, I'm guessing, attack position there. God, wouldn't that be interesting to see Seleucid cataphracts fighting Carthage? Seleucid elephants fighting Carthage elephants. How unusual would that be? They're exchanging arrows, I think, now. And here you can see that elephant unit going to charge into the flank of Varus. But watch those pikes. If they turn on the elephants, they'll kill those elephants quite quickly. There, look. You see the elephants go down there? That's the damage that pikes can do to elephants when they attack. And that one unit of Scorpion Kings now, elephant unit, has now been routed. But as I say, just watch Varus's pikes and see if he's going to attempt a downhill charge onto Beatch, is a red Julii infantry there. You can see Varus has already bought a couple of his pike units around the flank here, possibly to go into the flank of Beatch there. Meanwhile, over here, as I say, you can see a couple of Armenian cataphract units come around there to help Varus, looking to smash. They could take out the Seleucid gen. Oh my gosh, that Scorpion King's general has just been killed. Now we know Seleucid morale is not very good, so to lose his general there, that's going to be a big blow to the Seleucid faction there, especially those units fighting those Macedonian units there. So yeah, that was a good move by the enemy team. But meanwhile, there you are, look. Can you see Varus has decided to do a downhill charge? Now watch how he's charging. He's got his pikes up. He's going to charge into the forward units of the Julii infantry. You watch this, right? And then put his pikes down. Watch this, right? So he's made contact with Julii. Now watch, ready for the pikes. Watch the pikes. And then the pikes go down. There. See, the pikes have gone down now. So he's made inroads by running into the Roman troops. And now he puts his pikes down, fighting them. Okay, so that's like kind of a bit of a classic pike attack there into Roman troops. You'll see I'm bringing my Spartans over here to help Beatch try and counter those Macedonians. Plus you'll have the fear factor of the elephants there as well. There you can see the elephants. Can you see the Seleucid elephants of Scorpion King? He just sent them in, and they could well be killed. They could be killed by those Macedonian pikes. There you are, look. Those Seleucid, and then if they rout, that could affect the morale of our troops as well, you see. But that elephant unit there has just been routed by the Macedonian pikes. There's a lot going on at the same time. Right, here comes the Carthage elephants. Now, let's see what he's going to do here. Is he going to smash into the back of my Spartans, possibly? Is that what he's thinking with the downhill bonus? I can see some Armenian spearmen coming across as well. But whatever they need to do quickly, because those Macedonian pikes aren't going to hold forever, especially with cavalry hits coming in behind them and the pressure of the Roman infantry and my Spartans there. Plus there's horse archers shooting into them as well. But there you are, there comes the elephants, the Carthage elephants there charging in to Beatch's cavalry there, like a bang as they smash in there. That's cavalry and infantry there, I think, as well. Just look at how those fully upgraded Carthage elephants carve a path. They're just carving a path all the way through those Julii infantry and cavalry there. Oh my gosh, just look at that impact of those elephants there. Oh my gosh, but I think, is it too late for the Macedonian pikes? That's the Macedonian general's just been taken out. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So up here you'll see that that elephant unit there running amok could be doing a lot of damage there to enemy cavalry if the enemy cavalry get near them. There you can see all those cataphract archers there coming back from Vicox. You see Vicox got a couple of his Armenian spearmen there to throw in. Plus you've got the, as I say, the Carthage elephants there are doing a heck of a lot of damage there. Just look at how they're carving through that Julii infantry there. But I guess there was too much infantry and those elephants are starting to rout now. You can see I've auto-attacked my archers in there as well. But look at the cataphract attack up here. There are the cataphracts there where they're effective against armor maces, fighting the headhunting maidens, and auto-attack Scythian archers as well. Just look at that. Oh my gosh, could this be a turning point of the battle? Just look at all those fresh Armenian cataphracts there. attacking, attack, and yet those Scythian headhunting maidens still managing to hold there, but I can see some of the Armenian cataphracts starting to rout as well. You see, I've just brought my Spartans into the fray as well, and I think that was the last throw of the dice for the enemy team there. I think that was a reserve they were keeping back, which they've just thrown in. See this elephant unit here, killing those headhunting maidens before that elephant was brought down. But it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle there. You can see Vicox there doing a last attack there, coming in with his cataphracts here. Look, and bang! He had them hiding in the woods, brought them out, and bang! Charging me. That's a cataphract general dead. But you can see my Spartans charging in there as well. You can see Beatch's infantry is turned to face a threat. I've got my archers in there. I've alt-attacked my archers there. Oh my gosh. And as I say, I think that was the last throw of the dice for the enemy team there. And as I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle there. So, as I say, if we look over here, I think if I remember correctly, Scorpion King just had maybe 2 units left at the end of the battle there. That's all he had left there. So he did well over there, took out those onagers and did a lot of damage to the Macedonians there. And I think there was a couple of Armenian cataphracts units there that were taken out. But if we look all the way over here to our side of the shallow water crossing, this is where the battle started. This is where Fesen was really aggressive right at the beginning of the battle there, looking to create a bridgehead, which is what he did. But maybe he just needed reinforcements from his allies. I don't know how well he communicated what he was going to do to his allies. I don't know. Anyway, you can see Germanic berserkers dead there on the beach. As we go into the water there, you can see some more dead there under the water. There look like a Germanic archers there. And then we came across onto the other side. And then we went into the woods there where we fight. Remember, that's where we received that downhill charge from those Germanic troops that were hiding. Nice little ambush position there. As you move up over here, you can see more elephants taken out there. And over here, everywhere you look, there's like little skirmishes that have been going on here. And there where you can see dead elephants there. Look, just look at all those dead elephants there. I think that's where that Armenian cataphracts hit them there. And there you can see Fesen's armoured. There's that one elephant running amok there. You see Fesen's armoured elephants there routing. But this is where the Macedonians put up their last stand, and they fought really well there. But they got hit in the rear by cavalry. There was elephants going in from all directions, and of course they were fighting Rome and Greek city units as well. And as I say, if we move all the way over here, this was the place of that fantastic pike ambush there by Varus. So actually Scorpion King did well to win over there. I think he did have some ally support there as well. So as I say, Scorpion King did well there, and that must have been a heck of a shock when his cataphracts ran into those pikes that were waiting in ambush there. But as I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on and go on to win the battle there. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I thought everybody played well. I think it was, and you can see it was a clear victory. I thought it might have been average, but I think it was a surprise to everybody in the game that it was a bridge battle. I noticed when I hosted it, no one mentioned it. Right, highest kills in the game, and usually goes to myself there. Very pleased with those kills. But remember, whoever gets the highest kills, it's their allies that help them to get those kills. So very pleased with that there. Well done to Varus, got some good kills with his Macedonians there. That's his faction of choice, did really well. Vicox would be disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but I thought he played well with his Armenians. Barclayman would be a bit disappointed that he got less than 1,000 kills there, but he was very aggressive. And as I say, Fesen probably will be a bit disappointed with his kills, but very aggressive right from the start of the battle. So really well played, guys. Well done to Romex, got some good kills with Scythia. Really good kills there, played really well. He was all over the battlefield with his cavalry. Well done to Beatch, got some great kills there as well. Played really well with his Roman army. And well done to Scorpion King, just missed out on 1,000 kills, but he played well as well. Now what about faction advantage? So we had Greek cities, Scythia, Rome and Seleucid. Quite a strong combination. They had Macedon, Armenia, Germania and Carthage. So do you think that either team had faction advantage there? Please put your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, I just thought I'd try this bridge battle, and can you see how much fun a bridge battle can be and how exciting it can be if you don't have blockages of the bridge? If you block the bridge and the water crossing, neither team can attack, so it just like the battle just develops into stalemate. But if you leave the bridge and water crossing unprotected, then you could, as you saw, great attacking moves there by both teams. Okay, so Spartan Commander saying please leave your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to seeing you soon. I hope you enjoyed this bridge battle, and bye for now.